For teachers who teach non-credit courses in kindergarten through 8th grade, we'll only be monitoring progress instead of issuing grades during the last 6 weeks of the 2019-2020 school year. In order to do that, all teachers will be using the same progress monitoring template. This video will take you through how to set up that template, and then we'll walk you through the steps to set it up the most efficiently based on your teaching assignment. So start by going to Google Drive, however you typically get there. I just go to drive.google.com. On the left-hand side, select Shared Drives and select Crowley ISD Progress Monitoring. Select your campus folder. Then on the left-hand side, click on New, and next to the arrow next to Google Sheets, select From a Template. In the template library, make sure you've selected Crowley ISD at the top, and then go all the way down to where it says K-8 Progress Monitoring Template. Select it. This automatically creates a template in your campus folder. At the top, click on K-8 Progress Monitoring Template and rename this according to the naming convention that your campus would like you to use. In this case, I'm just going to name it 001 First Grade Keith, and then click Anywhere. On the first tab, you'll see which content areas will be used for progress monitoring for kindergarten through 8th grade. Then you'll also see links to set up videos here that you can click on that will walk you through how to set up this spreadsheet. Across the bottom, you have the Directions tab, a home contact log that you can use, completely optional, and then the main template for monitoring progress. Now, let's look at how you'll set this up for your specific teaching assignment. This video will address the best way to set up this sheet if you're a teacher with one group of students who teaches multiple content areas. The most common example of that is going to be a self-contained elementary teacher. So for example, a first grade teacher who teaches the same group of students for the 4 core content areas. So before you start doing any work on this, I'd highly recommend going up here and bookmarking this sheet. You can bookmark this just like you would bookmark any web page. Click Done, and then you can get back to this at any time just by clicking on your bookmark. So now let's set this up. First, we're going to come down to the bottom of the main template and we're going to make a copy. Do that by clicking the down arrow and clicking Duplicate. Now you'll see it says Copy of Main Template. Double click and name this Roster. Since you teach the same group of students for multiple content areas, you're going to enter their names and IDs first and then duplicate it for each content area that you'll be tracking. So, in your roster, start by entering student names here. Once you've entered your students' names, you can delete the names of any students that you're not using. And if you'd like to, you can also delete the rows. To delete the rows, click on the first empty row, scroll down to the last empty row, hold down Shift, click again, and then right-click on these rows and select Delete Rows. If that doesn't work for you, don't worry about it, just leave the rows as they are. So now that you have your rosters, you need to see which content areas you'll be monitoring progress for. Just check the Directions tab. If I'm setting this up as a first grade teacher, then I'm going to be monitoring progress in language arts and math. So I'm going to need to duplicate this twice, once for language arts, once for math. So on my roster, I'll click the down arrow and click Duplicate. And then I'll do that one more time with the roster, down arrow, duplicate. Double click on the name of the tab, name this one Language Arts, double click on this tab and name it Math. So now I'm ready to add the student expectations and the topic for each week. I'm going to go back to Language Arts. The SEs and topic for each week will be based on our updated scope and sequence for the rest of this school year. The scope and sequence are linked at the top of your student list. So click on scope and sequence, then click the link that pops up. At the bottom, navigate to your grade level. And here in reading, of course, you have your reading, your phonics, and your writing. We'll be focusing specifically on the reading TEKS in the priority lesson. So for the week of April 13th, we'll be monitoring 1.6H, which is summarizing and synthesizing a text. Go back here, type in 1.6H, type in summarizing and synthesizing a text. Next, I'll go back to my scope and sequence, look at the week of April 20th. I see 1.6F, and this is making inferences. So 1.6F, making inferences. And of course, you'd include the rest of that topic there. You'll complete that for your remaining weeks, and then you'll do the same thing for math. You can click on your math tab, go back to your scope and sequence, look at math, and you'll see here a priority standard in red in this case. So 1.2b, arranging and rearranging counters into tens and ones. 1.2b, arranging and rearranging counters into tens and ones. So then you'll finish the rest of your weeks with the student expectations and the topic. Then each week, you'll just determine which date the student completed the assignment, if they completed it in a print or digital format, and their mastery level. If you ever need to check the mastery levels 0 through 4, you can click on the link to the rubric above the student ID. And you can see from this rubric, a score of a 0 means a student did not participate, all the way from 1 through 4, developing to masters. Then every time you update your spreadsheet, all you need to do is just close this tab at the top and it will save automatically.